Okay, we're talking about Nicole, which is at this point on Wednesday night around 7 o'clock, Hurricane Nicole, barely a hurricane. We're talking about a low-end Category 1, but should be a weakening tropical storm by the time it comes through here. This is, again, the radar shot, 6:30 to 7 o'clock on Wednesday night, November 9th, in case you're watching this at another time. This shows you Nicole in northern Bahamas, and this is going to be rolling on in to the Atlantic side of Florida as we go through the overnight tonight. Let's take a look at the latest details. Moving west at 12, and you're seeing the winds at 75 miles per hour. Now, to become a hurricane, the threshold is 74 miles per hour, so this just did make it. So this is in no comparison to Hurricane Ian, which was on the Gulf side of Florida, as you know, weeks ago. So this is technically a hurricane, but they're not even remotely the same size. So this will be a kind of quick mover, and it's going to be a tropical storm as it comes on land here through to overnight into the day on Thursday. And then once it starts to approach our area, which by the way is coming right through here, it will be a weakening tropical storm, so kind of coming down extra tropical to winds instead of so much of the 45 mile per hour winds to more 35 to 40, somewhere in there. So that's going to be the bulk of the wind gusts that we see. Let's take a look at future view, and it will show you that landfall as we go south of mainly of Daytona Beach, Melbourne kind of area, maybe north of Fort Pierce. This is going to be mid-morning Thursday, all right, and you can see the rain starting to come on up. Southeast Georgia getting in on the act here with the rain and some wind. And then as we go through the day, our area here in central Georgia is going to continue to see rain building in. Not only that, but the wind picking up. Now, it's already been breezy on Wednesday here and as we go through the overnight tonight, but that is not necessarily directly associated with Nicole. It is the pressure gradient between where the hurricane is now and high pressure to our north, and is really keeping the winds up even though the storm's not here yet. Now at this point Thursday afternoon, the storm is here, and you can see the rain bands coming in. Now again, I always talk about the dirty side of a storm, of a landfalling tropical system, is on the east side of that eye. So if the eye of this is kind of come up maybe kind of west of 75, that puts the bulk of any severe threat, which is not a big threat, but off in our eastern counties and spreading toward coastal parts of Georgia. So anywhere in these little outer bands like this, you could have some brief spin-up tornadoes that are usually not that big and they usually don't last that long. Just something we have to kind of keep an eye on as these bands are coming around. There's late Thursday night. You can see things moving on up, and then as we head into the overnight, early Friday morning, the storm center probably rolling pretty much right through our area. This is going to be 8, 9 o'clock Friday morning. As we go into lunchtime Friday, most of the rain at this point, with the way the models are treating it, should be gone. But if not, then at least by the time we go on into Friday evening, all this takes off. Now, a cold front's coming in this weekend, and that is responsible for steering Nicole out to sea, but also is going to bring so much colder stuff in as we go into the weekend. There's a little bit of rain along that front in northwest Georgia at first, but it looks like it's going to stay dry as it comes through here Saturday. The overall net effect will be some much colder stuff Sunday morning and through Sunday, Monday of next week. We stay dry for the beginning of next week, and then another rainmaker comes in around Tuesday or so. Let's go back to these rainfall totals for the Nicole situation here. This is going to be through Thursday night, Friday. This takes us all the way to Saturday morning. I think about 2 inches is a good estimate, but there could be some spots that pick up more than that. Just depends on where these outer bands set up. You could have 3 inches of rain or more if you get caught in one of these kind of training things where these cells, the bands keep riding over the same spots. Overnight, tonight into Thursday morning, wind gusts 25 miles per hour, maybe as high as 30. But then as we go through the day on Thursday, as Nicole is at the bottom of your screen, starts to get a little closer, you can see 35 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts, and then maybe some even higher. Again, these are not steady winds, constantly 45 miles per hour. It's just an occasional gust. So it's kind of showing you worst case scenario for the wind. This is going to be Thursday night as the storm is moving on up into the late night, overnight, and then this takes us into Friday morning. Again, the storm is closer to us, but the numbers are not as high as what it was in South Georgia. The storm is going to be weakening at this point, and as it starts to pull away as we go through the day Friday, you can see it taking the wind with it. So I talked about that severe threat, not a big one, but again, on that eastern side of the eye of a tropical system, you're looking at a level 2 here just outside of our area for Savannah on down to Jacksonville. Our southeastern counties are in a low-end level 1. Again, just keeping an eye out for any sort of little spin-ups out there. The tornado potential graphic shows on the low end of the scale here in white, barely showing up. Again, if the center of circulation is over here, just off on these outer bands, right in through here is where the potential for spin-up is. Again, it is by no means way up on the scale for a large tornado threat, but just something to watch. All right, so let's talk about temperatures. We'll have 50s Thursday morning, and then Thursday afternoon, probably going to be in the 60s for most of the day. But then in one of those weird situations, we'll probably hit the high for the day later on Thursday night, somewhere in the 70s here. Now this takes us over into Friday morning, hovering somewhere in the 60s. Temperature obviously is not going to be that important in this situation. And then as we go through the day Friday, we're looking at some 70s, and then eventually the front will start to head closer our way with cooler stuff on the way. Dew points are low. Humidity's in good shape, but as we go through the day Thursday, we'll see that humidity coming up in the dark green. You can see the muggy stuff, obviously where all the rain is. And then as the storm pulls away, that front starts to come through on Saturday, and that brings in the much drier air again. So we have the low humidity now. Obviously, it'll go muggy again as the tropical system's moving through, and then we'll clear it all back out as this front comes through on Saturday. So here is a 7-day. We're going to go with a pretty healthy 100% chance of rain as we go through Thursday, starting southeastern counties in the morning maybe, and then as we get into the early afternoon, filtering on up farther toward the north. And then, the good part about this is we really need the rain, so this is not bad. You may not like some of the wind gusts out there, but at least it's not hurricane force or anything like that. As we head into Friday, the first half of the day has the potential for rain and wind, and then it starts to peel away as we go into Friday night, and that front will come through Saturday. We'll see if there's a dry front or maybe there's a sprinkle left over, but then look at the big drop down as we head into Sunday morning and on into the start of next week. So Nicole will be right on the front of our minds as we go through Thursday night into Friday, and of course we'll keep you updated right here.